In this video, I will show you how to deal with cuticles that are impossible to push back, gel stiletto extensions, and spooky design for Halloween. Coming up. Hello there, I'm Anastasia. Today we are going to do stiletto gel extensions and we are going to start with the prep. We just socked off soft gel tips, so I'm going to start with pushing back the cuticles. But looks like we still have some leftovers from the product, so I'm going to carefully clean them with the orange wood stick. Some cuticles are easy to push back. You just gently push them back and they slightly separate from the nail plate. But sometimes it is almost not possible. Take a look on the thumb of my client. It is almost impossible to manually push them back. Even if you try with a pusher or orange wood stick, it is going to hurt like hell. That's why I will show you a different way to deal with it. I will use a soft stone bit. The speed is 12,000 rotations per minute, forward mode. I'm not using any pressure. This is a very light touch. Technically, I'm just exfoliating the skin from the surface of the nail plate. Do not press into the skin too much because sometimes it may hurt. Now it looks completely different. And now we can even push back the cuticles without hurting the client. But it's better to be careful anyways because this type of cuticles are usually very sensitive. That's why every time you're working with the cuticle area, I recommend to use the side of the orange wood stick instead of the sharp part. Let's look at the close-up and know if you were wondering what are these two white things in the center. Those are not ridges from the e-file, they were there before. Why do they appear though? Well, there are many reasons for that. It may be the damage of the matrix or some kind of mechanical trauma. Anyways, we need to be super careful when working around this area. Meanwhile, I'm switching to the standard procedure of dry manicure. I'm using flame bit. The speed is 15,000 rotations per minute, forward mode. If you would like to learn more on how to do dry manicure or working with electric nail file in general, I have online classes for it. First one is for beginners. If electric nail file is something new to you, then eFile 101 is the best course for you. But if you already have some experience and if you would like just to master the dry manicure, then electric file manicure online class will be the better option. All the links are in the description below. Then I switch to the reverse mode and do the same on the opposite side and push the cuticles up so we can trim them easier. Next step is taking off the surface shine. I decided to use a buffer. This is 180 grit buffer. We also still have a little leftovers from the product, so I remove them as well. Make sure there are no shiny spots on the surface. And then I will be using my favorite manicure scissors. This is Russian brand called Silver Star, and I carefully trim the cuticles and the eponychium. For some clients, especially with dry and thin skin, I also use the buffing bit. This is a soft bit. The speed is relatively slow. It's 12,000 rotations per minute, forward mode. I buff the skin around the nail to make sure it is smooth. It also can be used for the dry sidewalls. And after we're done, we have a beautiful clean skin and the nail plate. Let's do extensions. I fit the form. We decided to do stiletto shape. First, I apply dehydrator and let dry, and then non-acid primer. Make sure you're applying a very thin coat and not touching the skin at all. Thin coat of the base coat, I'm using my favorite one by Cupa and cure in LED for 30 seconds. Let's do extensions. I'm using a milky white gel, and I always start with the tip. So I'm going to do the free edge first. Since we decided to go with stilettos and this is the spooky seasons, We are going to do them very pointy, you know, the Gothic stiletto style. Cure for 1 minute, and now we are going to apply the product on the top. I always start with a thin coat first, and I'm not going to cure it. This first bead, the tip that you build, and the foundation is the most important part in nail sculpting. It doesn't matter what are you using, polygel, hard gel, acrylic, whether you make it smooth and symmetrical and the shape is consistent, at this point you will not need to worry about anything. But if you see that something is still wrong about the shape, it is better to fix it before you proceed. I take a large portion of hard gel, and starting from the cuticle area, I build the structure of the nail. Make sure that you leave more product in the center because this is where we need the apex to be located, and we need to have less product near the cuticle and along the sidewalls. Freeze cure for 15 seconds, and then I'm going to pinch it. It is optional, you can skip this step if you wish to not do that, and do not forget to fully cure it for 1 minute afterwards. After you complete the whole set, we are going to take off the sticky layer using lint-free wipe and alcohol. Remember that we need to avoid any kind of contact of the uncured product and the skin, including the sticky layer. So when you do that, make sure you are not touching it as well as you are not touching the client's skin. Let's file and shape the nails. Since we have hard gel nails and hard gel is a soft product compared to acrylic, I am going to use 180 grit file. My client just washed her hands and take a look at this beautiful matte milky stilettos, but since this is the Halloween season, we're going to do the design. I will use 2 colors of marble tints by Cheri and Nailjob, black and red. First I apply the paint and then I take a brush with acetone and just going to play with the color. Since we have gel nails and they are resistant to any kind of solvents, we can use acetone, but normally you can also use an alcohol with the marble tints. Black and red are standard and classic colors for Halloween design, but first I got a little worried because the red color is more like a cherry red, you know, not like blood red, but later it actually turned out even better. Well, you will see it in a few moments. This product marble tints are so easy to use. Some brands call them color inks or alcohol nail inks. They are air dried, so you do not need to cure them in the lamp. You just need to wait for 1 to 2 minutes. As I was doing nail art on this thumb, remember the cuticles we've just been working on? I realized it was so hard to make it clean, and what I did just now, I added some red color right next to the cuticle, so now it looks like there was some kind of cut. Oh well, who cares? It's Halloween, right? It is so fun creating this kind of abstract design because no matter what you do, it's still going to look pretty. But there is one rule: when you're working with color inks, you need to stop at some point. I also like watching the creation of this kind of design in fast forward. I think it looks better this way. Let me know what do you think. When we finished the design, I realized that it is going to look better with a matte top coat. So I'm going to use one by Cupa because this is tack-free and I really like the matte look of it. By the way, if you will change the color, I mean you will use something instead of black and red, let's say brown and orange, this is going to turn into fall design. Cure for 30 seconds in LED and we're done. Let me know what do you think, and have you already decided what kind of nail art will you have for this Halloween? Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time here on my channel, consider subscribing, as I post new nail art tutorials just like this one every week. See you in my next one. Goodbye.